Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the NFL Podcast YouTube videos. Today I am here with Nando and Frank, and we also have another special guest today, Nick. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right, guys, how about we get started today? So, first of all, Bills-Vikings. Man, what an awesome game. I mean, that came down to the wire. Let me ask you guys, though. Who had the better catch? Was it Justin Jefferson or was it Stephon Diggs?
See, I think it was Justin Jefferson only because he was in the air. He pulled it down with the one hand. The receiver was right behind him the whole time. He had his hands on the ball, and somehow he pulled it down. He got he caught the ball. It was a 4th and 19, so they knew they had to go deep with the ball.
Yeah.
And the fact he was able to pull that down, it was just an incredible catch.
Yeah.
I think like so many catches have happened, like Stephon Diggs, that it's not that it was a bad catch. It's just like you've seen them before. I guess.
Right.
Yeah, and we've seen better as well. But Justin Jefferson, that really changed the game. Because if they didn't get that, the Bills would have definitely won that game, and there would have been no overtime. You know, it would have been crazy without
Right.
the catch.
And that's exactly what I was just about to say. I also believe that Justin Jefferson did have the better catch just because it meant so much more. I mean, Kirk Cousins threw that ball in the air thinking the game was over. I mean, let's be honest, right? I mean, Justin Jefferson, he took that from Buffalo. To be honest, that should have been an interception. But one hand, he just somehow, Josh Allen threw that football at the speed of light, and it was crazy to say that Stephon Diggs did pull that pass down, and it was still an amazing catch, but I just think Justin Jefferson's catch meant so much more.
For me, I honestly think Stephon Diggs' catch was better, and there's a couple of reasons behind it. Justin Jefferson's was very good. It's kind of hard to pull that ball in, but he did have a little support. The ball he probably wouldn't have caught it if someone wasn't on his back. That ball was probably flipping off his hand.
Yeah.
And for me, the reason Stephon Diggs was better is because Josh Allen has a very strong arm, and he throws that ball very hard.
Yeah.
And if you saw it, he threw that ball very, very hard, and for Diggs just put his hand up and grab the ball like that, just the ball just sits in his hand, and I think his catch was just a lot better.
Yeah. Frank, what do you think?
I would. You made a great point. I would still say Justin Jefferson because that changed the game.
Yeah. Right. And the Stephon Diggs catch, I'm not giving him any less credit. That catch was still awesome. Josh Allen, that was one of the actual, least accurate passes he threw the whole game. And for Stephon Diggs to just lean back with his arm like that and somehow be able to pull that down with how much speed he threw, you know?
And another point for that, if you compare the quarterbacks, Kirk Cousins, Josh Allen, you would think Josh Allen would be able to make that throw. You wouldn't think Kirk Cousins could make that throw if they're in a tight window.
Right.
Jefferson had an amazing game too.
Oh, he did.
190 yards, 10 receptions. He also made some other great catches. So
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So that is it for our first topic. We are going to go to our second topic now. Mike McCarthy, his revenge game. It didn't happen. We do have another Cowboys fan on the podcast, and he's also going to be explaining why the Cowboys lost that game. Nick, why don't you start us off?
I honestly just think the Cowboys lost that game because Mike McCarthy.
Yeah.
It definitely could have been their defense, and we're not really a first half team, we're a second half team, and Dak usually we don't win a game when Dak throws one or more interceptions, so that kind of showed that we don't win games when that happens. Dak hasn't played amazing this year. I was always a huge Dak fan, but recently, the past 2 years, I haven't been loving him as much on this team.
Yeah.
But the loss definitely was on McCarthy. We definitely shouldn't have went to overtime because, we were 100, I think it was 151 and 0 when we lead by 14.
Yeah.
Going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it was something like that.
And that's a crazy stat for us to just lose like that. But it is Aaron Rodgers, so Aaron Rodgers is arguably one of the best quarterbacks. So I mean,
Right.
I'm not surprised to happen, but for Mike McCarthy to go for it on 4th and 3 when Maher could have just kicked that field goal is kind of stupid in my opinion. I think it's on Mike McCarthy.
Yeah. Frank?
I would say it's definitely part of the coaching with that decision, but I'd say defense. They were up 14-0, and they had no reason to lose that game. They should have. No one would have thought their rookie was going to have 3 touchdowns for the Packers. No one thought they were going to stay alive. I think that's all on defense because if they shut out Aaron Rodgers one more drive and they go up 21-0 or even 17-0, the Packers aren't going to win that game.
Yeah.
I honestly think though too, it is definitely Mike McCarthy's fault because we had like 10 penalties for 100 and some yards, and that's on the coach with not disciplining his players.
Right.
So I think that's another reason we lose because discipline it comes from the coach, and 110 yards or something like that from penalties definitely does not win you a game.
Yeah. And, I also believe a little bit of it is on the coaching. I think a little bit is on the defense. I also believe a lot of it's on Dak, especially. I mean, those 2 interceptions were in the first half, which we could have been going into halftime 28-14. That game could have been a 2-score game going in to half, which is why I just don't think play calling was correct on both of those drives. CeeDee Lamb didn't seem like he was running his routes correctly. And nobody was really helping Dak in that game. Tony Pollard didn't have the greatest game of his life like he did against Chicago. But I just think if anybody watched that game, all the haters out there are going to say I'm wrong, but Parsons was held plenty of times in that game if you were watching it. And, give it to the offensive lineman. It is tough not to hold him because if you don't, he's going to get past unless you obviously double him,
If you double him, he's still getting through.
Right. And if you double him, he's still bringing that pressure, which I just think some of those calls should have gone a different way, and it was rough all around.
Nando, what do you think?
Yeah, Nando.
As Frank said, I don't think anybody expected him to have such a good game. The rookie, the 3 touchdowns, But I just, as you guys were saying, the coaching, that's probably was a big part of the game, obviously. Yeah. And, maybe they should have probably kicked the field goal. I didn't really watch the game, so, I'm not sure, why they didn't. But, I guess Rodgers just played well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing with the Packers is I don't think anyone thought they were going to continue running the ball when they were down 14-0.
Right.
Aaron Jones was a big factor in their turnaround because every other play, they just gave it to him. He got 4 or 5 yards that really helped out their offense.
Right, and with the Dallas defense, you would expect with that defensive line that we could stop the run.
Yeah.
Especially A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones, But it was just all rough. And yes, Maher should have been out there to kick that field goal at the end of the game, and that's a fact. That was 4th and 3. I don't believe we should have went for that because if we went for it and missed it, that put them in such a great position. They only had to drive 20 yards to really be in field goal range for Mason Crosby. So, all right, guys. So we are going to get to our last topic of the day today, and that is going to be Taylor Heinicke, who has taken the starting job over Carson Wentz. And guys, doesn't he deserve it? The way he's been playing these past few weeks has really stunned the world. And he almost beat the Vikings, which are right now one of the best teams in the NFL, debatably. So, what do you guys think of what Washington's doing?
Well, I definitely think major props to Taylor Heinicke.
Yep.
He's playing very well. That offense is clicking. They got a running game going finally. Finally are able to hit Terry McLaurin and other receivers. But I think a big reason is the defense has finally stepped up as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Many people thought that defense was going to be top 10, top 5 even in the league. But without Chase Young, they kind of struggled, but they finally found their groove against the Eagles.
Yeah. Nanda?
I know Chase Young is coming back this week, too, so that's something to look forward to.
Wow.
It's just the thing is with the Commanders, I don't think, I mean, I don't know if you guys agree, but I don't think like they're like one of like the obviously the top teams in the league. But I don't
no.
think they're gonna like make the playoffs. I mean, they might, but if anything, they're not gonna like go far with Heineke at the helm.
Right.
It just like it comes down to if Heineke stays healthy and if he keeps winning, he might even like have like a couple. They might want him back for another year. But
Yeah.
we'll see. Because I feel like at any moment, Wentz could just come back in and like with the experience and the contract, we'll see though.
Yeah. But, I don't believe that Washington will make the playoffs just because also how great that division is this year. I mean, the NFC Beast is back, baby,
Yeah.
Dallas, Philly, Washington, the Giants, I mean, they're all doing pretty well. I mean, both of the East divisions are actually two of the best in the league right now. But, yeah, huge props to Taylor Heineke and also props to the defense. Like Frank said, they've definitely stepped up their game recently in these past few weeks. So,
G, what do you think?
I mean, I don't want to take anything away from Taylor Heineke. He did have a good game, but I think Terry McLaurin helped him out a lot. He got open. I think he had like 100 and some receiving yards. So Terry had a really good game. I think their defense won them that game.
Yeah.
I don't think Hurts had any time in the pocket. Hurts was getting swallowed every time, and without them even having Chase Young, and the defensive line was still getting to them, with Philly having one of the greatest offensive lines right now in the game, and for Washington's defensive line to just get to Hurts every time. Because that's the problem with Hurts. If you're going to keep hitting him, he's not going to be able to throw the ball. That's
Right.
what happens when he tries to drop back. He has throw the ball, his farthest pass will be 15 yards.
yeah.
That's about it. But I definitely think defense won them that game.
Yeah, definitely. And the Eagles have taken their first loss. I mean, there's no undefeated teams left in the league now.
Yeah, and I wonder if the Eagles are starting to get predictable because that's their second game against Washington. Kelsey got a little banged up. I mean, they don't look like the same offense they were the last couple of weeks. I wonder if teams are starting to figure out their schemes.
Yeah, and now the Eagles fans are a little worried that Philly may turn into the 2020 Steelers. But, we'll see what happens. I mean, the Eagles do have cupcake schedule the rest of the year. I mean, their toughest games are obviously the Giants and the Cowboys left. Every other team they were predicted to beat by plenty of points, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think they have to sweep the Cowboys and the Giants to win that division.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think the Giants might win that division.
Yeah, they might. I mean, the Giants are only one game down now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the Eagles' defense will always do well when you have two lockdown corners and obviously their defensive line is going to be good too, especially when Jordan Davis comes back and everything.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
When it comes playoff time, I guess we'll really see how good they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, though, Darius Slay, he was getting cooked by McLaurin out there Monday night.
Easy.
If anybody watched the game, he was, 20-yard gap. One of the plays. But, guys, so we are going to give you guys our picks for this week of the NFL. Frank, how about you start us off here?
All right, tonight, Thursday Night Football, is the Packers versus the Titans.
Boy. I think the Titans are going to win this. I think the Packers won against the Cowboys strictly off of a little bit of luck with penalties. I don't believe at all the Packers are a great team this year. I think Derrick Henry is going to tear up that defense tonight.
I know the Titans barely won last week. I think they played the Raiders, I believe. Anyone know?
It wasn't the Raiders; it was a different team.
I
I'm
know
not
they.
sure.
I know they won by. I know the score was 17-10, and Derrick Henry didn't play well, but Ryan Tannehill is back now too. So
Broncos.
Yeah, they played the Broncos.
Oh, it was the Broncos.
Yeah.
So never, never mind. But Tannehill is back, so we will see how he plays against. Because I know the Packers do have a good defense, but
Mhm.
it all comes down to Derrick Henry in my mind. If he plays well, if he has over 100 yards, I think the Titans will win. But if the Packers find their groove, I think they'll win.
G, what do you think?
I think the Titans are gonna win. They have a very good. The Packers have a very good defensive line, I think, but it's very hard to stop Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's still going to run through them.
Yeah.
As good as the Packers' defense is, the only way that the Packers win that game, the defense will win them that game.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to go against you guys. I'm going to go Matt McFleur gets a revenge game against his former team Titans. So, looking at it, I don't think Christian Watson's going to have another 3 touchdown performance, but I think Lazard's going to play a lot better. They're getting Randall Cobb back, so they're getting some offensive pieces back in the lineup. They'll get Tony more involved in the run game. I just don't think really the Titans, all they have to offer is Derrick Henry in that run game. They don't have much else, so
Yeah.
I think the Packers are going to beat them in a close game.
We'll see.
The next game is the Bears versus the Falcons.
I guess I'll take the Bears because the Falcons, like, these past few weeks, they haven't looked good at all. I mean, yeah, they beat the Panthers, but is that really much of a win? Or I think Justin Fields is a better quarterback than people think. I just think he's around the wrong team. If he goes to a better all-around roster, I think that Justin Fields can be like a at least playoff caliber quarterback. So I'll take the Bears.
I'm gonna take the Falcons only because I know like the last 2 weeks Justin Fields has been scrambling a lot, and I feel like obviously the Falcons are gonna look to stop that.
Right.
And I think if they stop that, I think it'll be really good for the Falcons only because he's going to try to scramble outside the pocket a lot, and if
Right.
they contain the flats and stuff, I think they'll be all right. And I think like Cordell Patterson and Kyle Pitts might get open a lot too. So I mean, we'll see. I'm gonna take the Falcons. So
I really want to say the Bears. I'm going to say the Bears. I'm going to go with the Bears, but it's the NFL, so anything can happen. But, I mean, the Bears don't have a terrible defense, and I don't see Marcus Mariota being able to pass the ball against their defense
Right.
very well. I also don't think the Falcons don't have a great defensive line, do they?
I don't think so.
Not
I don't
really.
think
No.
They don't have the best line on like either side of the ball.
I just don't think the Falcons are good at all. I think what's his name? Justin Fields is going to have another big rushing game. He's not the greatest passer, but I think he's going to have another big rushing game. I think they're going to end up beating them by a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go the Bears as well. Justin Fields has been that offense the past 2 weeks against Miami
Yep.
and against the Lions, which they should have won both of those games if not for the defense. I think they're finally getting a win. And the Falcons don't really have much of a offense per se. Like, they have Cordell, they have Drake London and Kyle Pitts, but they haven't really been getting them involved. So if the Bears just keep helping Justin Fields make those throws, I think they're going to be fine.
Right.
The next game is the Eagles versus the Colts, who just got the upset against the Raiders.
Oh boy. You know, a lot of people have been talking about the 2020 Steelers being the Eagles of 2022 now, but I don't believe that's going to happen. I think the Colts are not a great team. I just think they beat a worse team, the Raiders, last week. And the Raiders, I mean, they're just terrible this year, but I'll take the Eagles. I think they bounce back this week.
I'm gonna take the Eagles too. I do think they are gonna bounce back.
Yeah.
They just look so good on paper and everything, and like they've been playing really well.
Yeah.
I know AJ Brown. It's just because AJ Brown really had a bad game. Like he had only 13 yards, I think.
Yeah, it was like one catch.
Mhm. So I think he's gonna try to find him more. And if he finds him, I think the Eagles will be fine. Yeah, that's about it.
Do the Colts have Gilmore?
Yeah, they do.
I think
Yes.
Gilmore's going to lock up A.J. Brown.
He might.
But I think Devontae Smith's still going to get. I think the Eagles are going to run through them. I
Yeah.
think A.J. Brown's going to get locked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Eagles are actually going to kill him, too, because the Colts are out. Darius Leonard, the linebacker, who's out for the year, possibly.
Yeah.
And all the Eagles really have to do is stop the run game. We know Jonathan Taylor is a big percentage of what that Colts do on offense.
Right.
Pittman also as well. If they get those two in, they limit their catches and carries, they're going to be just fine. And they should try to get the run game going more because they didn't really do that against Washington as much. They really couldn't because of the defense. So if they get Miles Sanders and all those other running backs going, I think they'll be just fine.
Yep.
The next game is Nando's Jets versus the Patriots rematch.
Okay, well, the Patriots beat the Jets the last time, but then the next week the Jets went and beat the Bills, which does not make any sense whatsoever. But I think the Jets will split the series with the Patriots. I think Sauce Gardner should get Defensive Rookie of the Year. He has just been phenomenal back there. It doesn't have to be an interception. All he's got to do is really knock it away, and that's exactly what he's been doing. So I'll take the Jets.
I want to take the Jets only because they've had time to study against the Patriots because of the bye week.
Right.
Because I'm sure Zach Wilson and like the whole offense is gonna go back and look at like all the errors they made. Because I think Zach Wilson threw like 3 picks against them.
Yeah, that wasn't a great week
They
for
had,
Zach.
yeah, I know they had him on lockdown and everything. So I think this week, they're gonna game plan against the Patriots. I hope they run the ball a lot. That's what I want to see them do. Instead of Zach Wilson just throwing the ball in the air and praying. We'll see though. I think Zach Wilson will win this game for the Jets.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take the Jets. To be honest, I don't know. I mean, the only person I see doing anything, I just don't think the Jets are gonna be able to run the ball. 'Cause I think Judon's playing amazing this year.
Yeah.
I think Judon's gonna just stop the run himself. I
Yeah.
think the Jets are gonna win that game.
I'm actually going to take the Patriots upsetting. They might get Damian Harris back. They have Stevenson. They have been a two-headed monster when they're on the field. And
Right.
I'm just worried about Zach Wilson. You know, as you talked about, that last game against the Patriots, he did not look good at all. And if they force him to get out of the pocket and make some plays, I think he's going to struggle a little bit.
Yeah.
See, I just think if the Jets defense plays well, I think we'll be okay because they have been playing really well.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if they don't, then the offense isn't going to play well. It's just how it is for the Jets this season.
Yeah, if
He's
they,
taking the Zach Wilson revenge, Cam.
Yeah.
if they definitely
hopefully.
force an interception or a couple fumbles, I could see them winning. But I just think the Patriots are going to play a clean game.
Yeah.
The next game is the Washington Commanders with Taylor Heineke versus the Texans.
I think the Commanders are going to wipe the floor with the Texans. I think the Texans are debatably the worst team in the NFL this year, and I think they will be for many years to come until they end up fixing that offense. Damian Pierce, I'm so sorry. I hope you get out of there. You're such a good running back, and you deserve to be somewhere else. He's probably top 10 this year right now, but I think the Commanders will kill the Texans. Nando?
I think the Commanders are going to destroy them too.
Yeah.
Only because like I think their defense is going to like cause turnovers, like 2 or 3, even maybe some forced fumbles off from that defensive line, or some picks even from the pressure. But I just think Heineke will be able to control the offense with McLaurin and stuff, and I think the Commanders are going to win.
Have they played yet? Have they played each other yet
No.
this season?
No.
They're not division rivals.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go with the Texans to be honest, because I saw the Eagles struggled against the Texans when they played, and the Commanders just beat the Eagles. So I think I'm gonna go with the Texans. I mean, it's hard to say because the Texans are really a run-based team, and
Yeah.
the Commanders have a very good D-line, but I'm still going to go with the Texans. I'm going to go with my gut. I think
Yeah.
the Texans are going to walk out.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to go Washington here. I think it's actually going to be a really close game with the running game, like you guys said. And also, the Texans have some weapons. They have Brandon Cooks. If they get him going, they can go Collins, some other good players. But I think everyone's so high on Taylor Heineke after that Eagles win, which he was really good in.
He
But
was.
I just think he's going to fall back to earth and not play as good as he used to play, like against the Eagles.
Yeah. And I think that Damian Pierce is really just going to have a great future. Like off topic, but I really do.
Yeah, he's definitely is. Next game is the Rams versus the Saints. And I don't know if Stafford's playing. He's kind of questionable.
Oh boy. Cooper Kupp is out.
Yeah, IR.
Man, it's tough to not take the Rams, but I gotta take the Saints because Chris Olave, if Michael Thomas is still playing right now, Alvin Kamara, he'll be out there. If Jameis ends up playing, but I just think the Saints have the better offense. They just got to prove it, and I think the Rams are the team that they could do it against.
It is. I just checked. It's Matt Stafford is expected to start.
Okay.
So he is expected to be back.
But he doesn't have Cooper Kupp. That's the thing.
I know. I know. Like people do say it's the whole offense, but I am gonna take the Rams. Only I think mainly because of their defense. I trust their defense. I think Matt Stafford will be able to pull it together, and hopefully, like maybe some new targets will step up. But only because of the Rams defense, I'm gonna take them.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like Nando said, I'm gonna take the Rams mainly because of the defense. I mean, their defense definitely isn't like their Super Bowl defense last year,
Right.
but their defense still isn't letting up that many points in a game.
Yeah.
Against like the better teams, they're not playing terrible. So, I mean, even without Cooper Cup, they still have. I mean, Allen Robinson, right? He hasn't,
Allen Robinson.
He hasn't
yeah,
played. He hasn't played too well, but
Yeah.
he's gonna get more targets now that Cooper Cup's out.
Yeah.
And I think the Rams are gonna win this one.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Rams too, and I think they're going to lean on that running game with Darrell Henderson back in the mix, and they actually started to use Cam Akers a little bit and all their other running backs that they have. So I think they're going to have a big game running the ball against the Saints defense. And with the Saints starting Andy Dalton or Jameis Winston, I'm not sure which, probably Dalton, but both of them are turnover prone. So
Yeah.
I could see Ramsey or Donald or some people forcing fumbles, just takeaways from the Saints.
Yeah.
The next game is the Browns versus the Bills, which is expected to snow a lot in Buffalo.
Yeah. If that game isn't delayed, I'll take Buffalo. And hopefully, for everybody's sake, the Thanksgiving game with the Bills and the Lions this Thursday will not be postponed as well because of that snow. We'll definitely be keeping you guys posted. But if this game is played Sunday, I will take Buffalo by a lot.
I'm gonna take Buffalo too. I think it'll be cool to see how Josh Allen plays in like the snow and stuff, and if Diggs gets open. I think like Josh Allen is gonna scramble a lot, and it's like once he gets going, like he can maybe juke someone out, or like people are gonna be slipping and sliding.
Yeah.
We'll see, but
It's going to be a wet game.
I know. I'm gonna take the Bills.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Bills as well. I don't know. Browns, they're not terrible, but they've played some pretty good teams, but they're not terrible. But I mean, I just still think Josh Allen's gonna beat them
Yeah.
by himself. I think he'll run all over them, which I don't really agree on because he's gonna get hurt eventually.
Yeah.
But he's like a Mack truck when he's running at you.
Oh, he is.
Runs you over, but I don't agree with it because he's definitely gonna get hurt eventually. No, I still think the Bills are gonna win that one.
Yeah, I'm going to actually take the Browns upset. I don't know.
Whoa.
So the Browns are built for this game. They have one of the best running backs. They have one of the best O-lines, which it wasn't against Miami last week. And they have one of the best backup running backs. So I think they're just going to run the ball down the Bills' throat like the Patriots did last year in that snow game. So I think they're going to get the upset here. It's going to be a really close game with the snow, obviously, and I think the Browns have the better advantage. They have a better offensive running team. And the Bills really haven't shown much of a run game besides last week.
Yeah. I don't think it's very high scoring.
Yeah, let's hope we could also like see the running backs too.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. The next game is the Ravens versus the Panthers.
I'll take the Ravens. I think the Panthers are just a complete joke. The Ravens, they don't know how to finish out a game. They could start really well. They don't know how to finish the fourth quarter. It just seems like they forget how to play. I mean, they play a great 3 quarters of the game and then they forget the fourth. But I'll take the Ravens. I think they'll do enough.
I'm gonna take the Ravens too. I don't know if Mark Andrews is like healthy at all, but
I think he's questionable. He should be playing though.
okay, I'm gonna take the Ravens. I just think Lamar has been playing really well this season, even though like obviously they can't close out the games and stuff, but I don't think the Ravens defense has been playing bad either, but I just like the Ravens in this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the Ravens. I just don't think the Panthers are gonna be able to handle Lamar.
Yeah.
I think the Ravens are gonna win that very easily.
Yeah, I'm going to go Ravens as well because, as you guys all said, Lamar's great.
Yeah.
They have a great run game. Mark Andrews will be back, so I think it's going to be too much. And also, for the Panthers, P.J. Walker did get the win last week, but I don't think any of us think he's going to string a couple of wins consecutively, and they're probably going to bench him with Baker Mayfield middle of this game.
Yeah.
The next game is the Giants versus the Lions.
I think the Giants are going to take this one. I think the Lions are really starting to build an offense, especially. I believe in a few years they could give Minnesota a run for that division, potentially. But I think the Giants are rolling right now with Saquon and just Daniel Jones. I mean, he's really not playing too bad right now, so I'll take the Giants. No.
I'm gonna take the Giants too. I just think the Giants' offense will be too much for the Lions' defense.
Yeah.
Saquon, I could see having a good game just out the backfield, just going off for passes too, which is going to be a problem for them. Maybe Daniel Jones will be able to run a lot. I know people say like Vanilla Vic. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I don't know why, but I'm gonna take the Lions. I have no idea why, but I don't know. I have a gut feeling that the Lions are gonna win. I'm gonna go with my gut. I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know why. They definitely lost one of their biggest offensive pieces in T.J. Hawkinson.
Yeah.
But I still think if they shut down Saquon, the run game, Saquon's that whole offense. If they shut down Saquon, that game's over.
Yeah, like we said, Saquon, when he has 20 some rushes or 20 attempts, the Giants are like 6-1 or 7-1, something like that. But
Yeah.
I think the Giants are going to continue to get on the win streak, and I think Daniel Jones is going to have a good game. Slayton's going to have a good game because the Lions defense really hasn't done much. Like Justin Fields ran all over them, and then they haven't really been good. So I'm going to take the Giants. I think it's going to be a close game though. Next game is the Broncos versus the Raiders. Both teams are struggling.
Ooh, this is tough. I guess I'll take the Broncos. The Raiders, I mean, they're one of those other teams. They can't finish a game either. They've blown 5 leads this season, which is totally ridiculous. I don't think the Broncos are great, and I don't believe this is a high-scoring game by any means.
Yeah.
But I'll take the Broncos maybe by a point.
Have they played already yet? Does anyone know?
I have no clue.
I'm gonna take the Raiders though. I trust Derek Carr and Devontae Adams connection this game.
Yeah.
And I know Josh Jacobs could have a good game too. He's been amazing on the run so far. I mean, running the ball so far this season, but I don't know the Raiders defense has been playing. I'm guessing not great. Obviously they have a bad record. Obviously they've choked a lot of weeds. So I mean, if the play calling gets fixed maybe a little bit in the season, maybe they can make a little run win streak, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna take the Raiders. I don't think they're gonna stop Devontae Adams and Derek Carr. I mean, they have Patrick Surtain, but I mean, Devontae Adams is one. He's always been one of the best receivers in the league. So I don't think Surtain's gonna be able to guard him. And I also think Josh Jacobs has played very well this year.
Yeah.
And I really think Josh Jacobs is gonna have a good game against him.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Broncos because if you look, both teams have been struggling offensively, but I think the main thing the Broncos have going for them is their secondary because they have Simmons, they have Surtain, as you said. They can definitely limit Devontae Adams, and also Waller's on IR and Hunter Renfrow. They're both on IR. So the Raiders are missing a lot of offensive players, so they're gonna have to make up for that.
Yeah.
And I think the Broncos are just gonna make enough plays, and they should probably run the ball more because Russell Wilson has not been cooking lately.
Raiders did beat the Broncos too earlier in the season.
They did.
We'll see
Okay.
what happens.
The next game is a rematch of last year, the Cowboys versus the Vikings.
Okay, so as much as I want the Cowboys to win, it's not going to happen. The Vikings are one of the best teams in the league. Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook, T.J. Hawkinson. I mean, there's everything there for Kirk Cousins, and this is not prime time, so I think the Vikings are going to beat the Cowboys. It might be closer than people think, though.
I think the Vikings are gonna win too.
Yeah.
I know, the main reason for me is their defense played really well last week against Josh Allen, out of all people.
Yeah.
I think the momentum's gonna carry over, and I don't think the offense is gonna play bad. Trayvon Diggs versus Jefferson is a matchup I definitely want to see happen.
Oh, yeah, that'll be fun.
Because if one of them play bad, you're gonna hear about it constantly. So we will see.
Yeah, I think the Vikings are gonna win that game pretty easily. I just don't think the Cowboys' defense is. I mean, the Cowboys' defense isn't terrible. They're one of the better defenses in the league. I mean, their secondary is not terrible.
Yeah.
I think Anthony Brown's still going to be out, so that's better for us. We're going to have, I think, that rookie.
Yeah, Deron Bland.
Yeah.
He was actually not bad last week.
Yeah. I think he's definitely going to be a big piece to shutting down the Vikings, but I do not think that the Cowboys have a chance to win that game.
Yeah, I'm actually going to take the Cowboys upset
Oh.
because if you guys look at the game last week, Kirk Cousins played amazing, like beyond what he normally plays.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to struggle. He's going to come down back to earth because that Cowboys defense gave him troubles last year with Cooper Rush, and they're going to give him troubles if the Cowboys actually commit to running the ball with Pollard and their other backs, Mike Davis, maybe if Zeke's back. I think they're going to be fine. They just have to control the offense and not force those throws like they did last week against the Packers.
Yeah.
The next game is the Bengals versus the Steelers.
I'll take Pittsburgh. I think that's definitely the upset. But I just got a feeling that Kenny Pickett might be able to get it done against Cincinnati. Neither of these two teams are really that great. Cincinnati, I believe, does have a winning record, but I don't know. They just don't seem like they should.
I'm gonna take the Bengals. I think Joe Burrow's been playing really good this season. Only thing that worries me is I know TJ Watt is back, so obviously the Steelers defense takes a huge step up.
Yeah.
But I trust Joe Burrow in the offense. I think he'll get it done. He'll find the open targets, and
Yeah.
the Bengals offense will be too much for him.
I really want to see the Bengals, but with TJ Watt being back, I really like the Bengals have built an offensive line over like last year after losing the Super Bowl. They've really built an offensive line,
Yeah.
but their offensive line still hasn't been very good. So I honestly think the Steelers are going to win with their biggest piece to their defense being back. So I think the Steelers are. It's going to be a very close game, but I think TJ Watt's going to be the X factor in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close game as well. But I don't think Burrow's going to throw another 5-interception game against Steelers like he did. So I think they're going to get the win. It'll probably be closer because they still don't have Jamar Chase, but I think Burrow's going to make a couple more throws than Pickett would. And their offense has kind of been struggling, the Steelers, lately. They traded away Claypool, so they still have to get Pickens involved and Deontay Johnson involved and Fairmouth, all those other players. But I think the Bengals have their number on offense. The next game is Sunday Night Football, the Chiefs versus the Chargers, a rematch.
Well, I think the Chargers right now are the most overrated team in the NFL. So I think the Chiefs are going to beat them. Just because also injuries for the Chargers have killed them. So
I'm gonna take the Chiefs. I just think Mahomes is playing at obviously an MVP level. I think he is the MVP right now of the season to me. And obviously there is Tony finally got his first touchdown. So if he steps up with, Travis Kelce, MVS.
yeah,
I know Juju got hit pretty hard. I don't know if he's injured or not still, but
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. You might still
I
be
just
concussion
think the
rate.
Chiefs offense will play really well against almost any team.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I mean, I think it's pretty clear. I think the Chiefs are going to win this game. I honestly wish that there weren't many. I wish the injuries weren't happening with the Chargers because this is like one of my favorite quarterback matchups.
Yeah,
I love Herbert, and I think he's definitely one of the better quarterbacks in the league. But with injuries, I definitely think that the Chiefs are going to walk out of there with a pretty easy win.
Yeah, I'm going to hit the Chiefs as well. I think it's going to be a closer game because last week the Chargers defense did play really good against the 49ers offense, and we know what they have on the board. So I think it's going to be a closer game, and hopefully Keenan Allen or Mike Williams can get out of there. At least one of them can help Herbert out because they have definitely been struggling and leaning on Austin Eckler for most of their offensive game.
yeah.
But I'm going to take the Chiefs. The last game is the Monday Night Football game, the 49ers versus the Cardinals.
I guess I'll take the 49ers, but I will be rooting against the 49ers for the sake of the Cowboys, obviously. But I just think that the 49ers have a great team around them with Ayuk, who has really stepped up his game this year. Every week, it seems like he's had more fantasy points than Debo. So I think the 49ers will win, led by Brandon Ayuk.
I'm gonna take the Niners too. I just think they got more weapons.
Bottom line.
Yeah, and I also just think I don't think any team as much playmaking ability as they do.
Yeah.
Like Debo, Christian McCaffrey could just go for 90 yards at any time, which I always think that's why they're the better team.
Yeah.
And obviously their defense could also be stepping up too. With Bosa and that whole defensive line. And their DBs have not been playing bad either. So I just think the Niners are gonna win this.
I think the 49ers are going to win. I'm going to take them. I don't like Kyler Murray anymore. I picked him up as my fantasy quarterback, and he's giving me like 17 points every week.
Yeah, that's not that great.
I don't like him anymore. I don't think he's good anymore because he's not playing like he played last year.
Yeah.
Last year he used his legs. He ran all the time.
Right.
This year he's just sitting in the pocket. He's trying to be a pocket passer, and he's not a pocket passer.
Yeah.
He's a scrambler. He could pass. He's a good passer. But he's not a pocket passer. He's an outside the pocket passer, and he's a scrambler, and he's just not playing to the best. He's not playing his own version of football. He's trying to be someone else he's not.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with you, what you guys have been saying. And the Cardinals did start off 7-0 last year, but it hasn't been the same team, you know?
No.
With DeAndre Hopkins getting suspended and Zach Ertz is actually out for the year, they just said a couple
Oh,
days ago.
really?
So that's another big loss for them. I mean, they still have Rondell Moore and some other players, but I think the 49ers offense is going to be too much for their defense. As we said, CMC, Debo, they haven't got Kittle involved. He'll probably get involved. And all those other receivers they have, Ayuk, like, 49ers is going to be too much for this team. And we know Jimmy G is a winning quarterback. You know, Kyle Shanahan has won 70% of the games with him, so they're just going to keep winning.
All right, guys. Well, that is it for our video today. I appreciate everyone who watches. Thank you, Nando. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Nick. Guys, please put your picks in the comments for us and let us know what you guys want us to talk about next week. See you guys.